I would like to introduce Bhavesh Gandhi. He is going to present our next research outcome, which is trying to use DBpedia. DBpedia is a kind of Wikipedia, but more accurate because they have people to take a look. And DBpedia is a very huge database, like a 55 gigabyte if you want to download it right now for the code. And Bhavesh trying to use DBpedia as a source, trying to analyze the entries inside of DBpedia and find the useful and valid ungrammar words, and also the valid part of a speech. So let's welcome Bhavesh.
Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Bhavesh. So my research topic was valid n-gram learning and verification with DBpedia. So 1 second. Okay. A bit about myself. I'm a third-year undergraduate from Heritage Institute of Technology. So let's begin with the research outcome. So basically our research goal aims to develop a service which can extract, identify and valid n-grams from DBpedia and also identify important and the most frequent POS tags from the data. The ultimate research outcomes is that it builds a service API where user can send the JSON response, JSON input response to the API, and they will get the JSON response of the valid n-grams and the POS tags in details. So let's go to the next slide. So basically there are two stages in my research. First one is extraction, pre-processing, storage. Yes, it has multiple steps in that. So, and the second one is building the API service. So yes, so the tech stack used in the stages was PHP, Python, JavaScript, some natural language processing, along with AJAX and JSON, and definitely HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap definitely for building the website. So yes, so let's first see what the data and what the DBpedia is. So basically, DBpedia is an open source database where it is actually Wikipedia in a very compact fashion, and it is arranged in a very specific manner. Let me tell you how. So basically, the data is arranged in a graph format, and the graph is known as a knowledge graph. So please focus on this picture. So as you can see, it is a kind of graph where these are nodes and they are links via edges which are representing the characteristics between each of them, how they are linked. So for example, we have Star Wars. So it is a genre of science fiction, right? So we can see the link is a genre which connects it to science fiction. Please note here that the node does not only carries the category information, it also has the definition of Star Wars. As you know, if you type Star Wars in the Google, you will see that you will get all the information about the Star Wars. It's a movie and the rest of the things. So also you will get to know about the characters who played in the roles, like Ali Guinness, who starred in Star Wars. So this is how the data is arranged in some kind of link format. I'll let you know how this links is actually look like. So actually for our purpose we used a section of a DBpedia database which can be downloaded, and it is available in the TTL file format. So what is a TTL file? So TTL file is basically a turtle file format. So some key facts to note about it: it is approximately 3.7 GB in size, and it contains approximately 5.8 million lines. So please note here, it just contains the abstract of all the words present in the in the Wikipedia. So that's why its file size is so large, and it contains almost all the words available in the Wikipedia along with the abstracts. So let me tell you how the data looks like inside this file. So as I told you, each line, so each line of the file looks something like this. So you can see this, this sentence, this complete sentence. There are links. You can see this is a link, and again this is again a link. So as I told you, all the nodes are interconnected. That means they are somehow connected, and they are connected via URLs, or in DBPR terms they have called it URIs. So definitely, if you go and Google this up, you will see the definition of Achilles, and that is how each line looks like. Please note here, I have cropped the lines over here. Its definition is actually pretty large, but I need to cut that out to fit in this presentation. So yes, so my job was to extract out this category as well as the abstract, which were needed for our purpose. So we used regex for this. Regex, just for everyone understanding, regex is nothing but regular expressions. So regular expressions are used to extract patterns from a sentence. So we need so it is a good way to extract patterns out of sentence. You can easily use it in using Python or PHP too. So after extraction, we get the abstract over here, and of course the category also. So you can see the data is not that good, and it does not contain only English alphabets, as we thought that it would contain only English alphabets, but that's not the case. We have some Greek alphabets and some alphabets which I also don't know what kind of alphabets this actually are. So yes, there are certain symbols which must be removed to get a good response. So that's why we had some filters. And in general, in any natural language processing task, the data is actually challenging because we need to process out this data. The data is in the raw format, and it's really contains some ambiguities which are needed to be removed. So that's why we have this filter over here. So this filter, I'm just showing it this for representation, but it is actually certain functions are there inside my backend code, which through which this sentences are passed. So what it does, it's filter out these sentences, and only English alphabets remains over here, so that the sentence gets filtered out. After that, we make n-grams out of this sentence. So what are n-grams? So n-grams is nothing but it's just a contiguous sequence of n items, or you can say n words. So for example, if n gram, you can say if it is 2 gram, we are talking about 2 grams. So for example, let's talk about the sentence, I love apples. So 2 grams is of this sentence will be I love and love apples. So yeah, yes. So if you consider 1 gram out of this sentence, then it will be I, then love, then apple. And if you consider 3 gram, then this I love apples will be taken together. So it has particular meanings. That's why we consider this n-gram term in NLP domain. So the next thing, after these n-grams are extracted, also please note here we are extracting 1, 2, 3, and 4 grams out of this whole sentence and each of these lines. Okay, so after that, n-grams are extracted, we pass it to the NLTK tagging function. NLTK tagging, this is actually responsible to tag sentences. Here we use a natural language processing toolkit, which is excellent to use for tagging. So tagging is nothing but to take the essence of to take out the grammatical essence of this set of words. For example, I love. What grammatical things are there? So it is a noun, and the second word is a verb. Again, for love and apples, we do the same. Love is noun, and apples is again sound same part. So oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So that is what about POS, and NLTK tagging basically does, it tags all those n-grams, all those 1 to 4 n-grams, and store it in the database. So that is extraction and pre-processing. We will club all together in the overall workflow once I'll get there. So let's talk about the database. So it's important to note about this JSON database over here. We have four primary tables. One is table ngram, the next one is table ngram POS, the third is table POS, and the fourth one is table status. So table status basically tells us about, okay, I'm sorry, table ngram stores the ngrams and along with n value, ngram ID, and language. Ngram POS and table POS stores the unique POSs we encounter uh, during the workflow, during the whole process. And table ngram POS are the connection link between ngram and POS. So for each respective ngram IDs, we have the respective POS IDs. So so please note here, we are storing only unique ngrams to handle to not have repeated ngrams as well POS in the database. Unnecessarily, it will make our database crowded. Also, please note here that table status is really important when I'll take you to the workflow. It basically stores how many lines are being processed, or up till which how many lines are we have processed up till now. So it has basically task ID, task number, and file number. File number tells you about the currently we are only processing one file, that is the one TTL file, because it is enough for us for now. In future, if we have a TTL file which is whose language is in Hindi, then we can also add it there and start the process. So yes, this is a four primary widget. Then we have views. So views are basically used in this to update the dashboard. So basically it has it stores the POS count information, how many POS frequency are there, and what are those POS frequencies generally. So that was about this. So this is the whole workflow of the stage one. So first we have the DBpedia. So again, through that we have two Python files or scripts, you can say, whose first job is to extract and pre-process those data. After the extraction and pre-process, the data is sent to the database handler. So the database handler actually first checks that if the ngram is already available in the database or not. If it is available in the database, then we must discard it. As I said that we need to keep the uniqueness in the database. And if it is not, and if it is not there, then we are good to go, and we'll add those that new ngram in the database. So that is the one section of the system. Again, the next section is the updation part. So now we have the tables filled or filling in the real time. Then we have something, we have a dashboard where you can see the live updates or the live status of the ngrams which are being processed, the POS or how many POSs we have encountered, what are their frequencies and all. So for that we have a PHP script through which directly updates this dashboard periodically every 10 seconds. I'm sorry, every 10 minutes. Also, there is a JSON file which stores the most frequent top 15 POS tags in this in a JSON format. So it helps us to see the visualization part of the dashboard. I'll take you to the dashboard and I'll show you everything. Then we'll come back. So let me take you to the dashboard. Okay. So one more thing, that this is our new word sentence natural language processing similarity service page. So you can have a look at it on your own. So you can see we have every section. So for that, you can download the plugins for the Moodle. And here's the about section. We have our team, and so let's focus on dashboard first. So here is our dashboard. So yes, so you can see here, as I told you, the PHP script basically updates this section of the web page. You can see that the total number of lines we have are 5.7 millions. I told you approximately that amount of lines we have. The number of lines currently processing are 10,371, and lines left are this. And you can see that how many POS tags are we found just by processing 10,000 lines, and still that much amount is left. So an interesting thing to note here that this section of the web page updates using AJAX, and you don't need to refresh the complete page again to see the update the status update. It will update automatically every 10 seconds using AJAX. So the next thing is the graphs. So the first graph is the bar plot, which tells you about the most frequent POSs. So this tells about the top 15 POSs basically. So you can see here based on their frequency definitely. So you can see that noun tops this list because we can see that in general nouns are very frequent in the database after extraction. So you can see it is after processing 10,371 lines, we have approximately 51,000 and above that, in fact. And the next thing is the next comes noun, which noun means that the sequence, the 2-gram sequence of noun. So that was about it. That the third is adjective and then a noun. It is also frequent. Every time you come back after, let's say after 2 to 4 days, you will see that this section of the web page might get updated because depending upon the frequency of this n-grams. So that was it about the bar plot. And the next thing is about the pie chart. So another pie charts also helps to tells you that how the data is scattered. It basically defined in terms of percentage that how the POSs are scattered in the database, or the top 15 POSs are scattered. So that was how the web page is loading. So let's go back to the presentation again. Okay, yes. So as I said that this JSON helps to update the graphs of the web page. Also, please note here the whole process is controlled by the cronjob functionality. Cronjob is basically a task scheduler which helps to schedule any task in a specific time interval. You can set the time interval easily. So every 2 minutes, this whole process runs, fires up, and fills up the whole thing, and the process gets updated and the status gets updated. So this is how the whole stage works. So let's move to I have taken you to the dashboard. So let's move to stage 2. So after having the database, after collecting all the n-grams and the POS tags, now it's time to build the API. So we have the database. This is just an overview. So after the PHP and Python script extracts the data and the API is formed. So this is just an overview how the backend structure looks like. I'll go in details about it. So let's go. So this is actually how the structure is. So here is the end user. He sends the JSON request. The JSON request is processed by the PHP and Python scripts. So if the request is valid, if the request is invalid, then from here the response will be back telling the user that it's an invalid request. Please put the request correctly. So if the request is valid, then we'll have two options. One is for the n-gram and the other is for POS. So n-gram, in n-gram we have three options that. So please, let me tell you what the n-gram here means. So here n-grams means you are checking about the words. You are checking when you want to check the validity of the words or the words. So again, we have three subsections in that. First one, if you want to verify only for n-grams. So if you want details of the validity of the only n-grams, and the second one is POS. So if you want to check the validity of the respective POS of the n-grams you have given. So what does that mean? I'll tell you when I'll show you the practical. And the third one is if you want both of them, you can set the verify for to the both option. Verify for is a variable input variable in the JSON input, which we'll see in just a second. And again, the second thing is POS. So POS is when you want to check whether a POS is valid or not. Suppose you can type in the content section NN and you want to check whether NN is a valid POS or not. If you want to check that determiners can come after the adjective or not. You can check everything using this functionality. So again, if everything works fine, then the JSON response will be sent to the user again, saying that yes, you have got the response. So let me tell you how the JSON input looks like. So it basically have 5 options. So as I've said, that first one is the content type. So content types contains the word or sentences which will be provided by the user. So as you can see in this example itself, that contents are set to rings and semicolon book. So semicolon is a delimiter separating them. So the second thing is content type. Content type, as I said that content type. I'm sorry. Yes, content type can be set to ngram or POS. When you want, when you want to check for POS, you have to set this content type to POS, and when you want to check for the ngrams, you have to set this content type to ngrams. So yes. So again, the third thing is the delimiter. So it's an optional parameter. If it acts as a separator between 2 sentences or 2 words or 2 set of words. However the user wants to input the sentences or words. So it's an optional parameter, because if you do not set this parameter, the default parameter will be used as a space character. The words will be separated via space if it has in the content section. So again, the next thing is ngram n, which is also an optional parameter. It tells it tells what type of ngram the user wants. If throughout this sentence, if you want to extract only 1 grams, you can set this parameter to 1, and you will get only 1 grams out of this whole content. The next parameter is ngram nmax, through which you can get 1 to ngram n. What do I mean by that? If you set this to 2, you will get all the ngrams from 1 to 2, from 1 gram and 2 grams separately. The last parameter is verify for, which is also an optional parameter. As I told you, this section is actually the verify for. So verify for, if you want to just verify the ngrams, check the validity of the ngrams, then you can set this verify for to ngram. Again, if you want to set the verify for to POS, then you can set this verify for to POS, and you will get the information about the respective POS with respect to each ngrams, right? So that is how this works. And if it is not set, the default will be taken as a both, or you can set to both as well. So that doesn't matter. So here's a doc which you can definitely have a look, and we'll go to see that. So the response JSON looks like this, as I said, and it has various other parameters. I'll show you the live demo as well. So here you can see I have asked for the ngrams only. That's why here it is written that ngram asked, and amount is 2, because I've set it to 2 only. That's why. Let's see the demo. We'll get a better idea about that. So for demo, I'm using Postman. This is an excellent API testing service to check out whether your API works or not. So right now, let's type in any one of the words here. We'll send the JSON response again. So let's first see. I've set the content to ring, and then there is a delimiter, if you can see over here. Then I've written I love you. Then it is some kind of jargon, and there is there is a delimiter, and there is a boy. So I'm currently asking the content type to be the ngram. So please focus here that I have only written some kinds of words over here. That's why the content is set to ngram. So let's see what happens. Then I'll explain you each of these parameters. I'm sending the request, and it will take quite few seconds. Okay. Okay. So as you can see, I've set this ngram nmax to 3. So here this will dominate over ngram n, because we're getting all the ngrams up to what I mean by that, we'll get 1 gram, 2 gram, and 3 grams by setting this to 3. So please note here that we have ring in the valid variable. We have ring I love and you. Also we have 2 grams, like I love, whether it's a valid ngram. Yes, it's a valid ngram. Love you, it's a valid ngram, and altogether that is definitely a valid ngram. So right now it shows us there are certain other variables which might be useful to us. Let me show you that. So the invalid ngram, it's definitely this. So I'll show you the how it can be used also. So its validity of this n-gram is false because it doesn't make any sense. The word doesn't make any sense. That's why this validity is false. So again, for developers and for general users, we have other variables which can be useful for them. First one is validity. This validity tells us how, with respect to each of your n-grams, whether it's valid or not. So as you can see, true, 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 and then a false. This false is for this word. That's why. You can also, if you do not want all this informations, you can directly call this variable valid n-gram, and you can directly access all of these variables. Again, we have n-gram n asking that whether what kind of n, what value of what n value is of this sentence. So it is 3. So that is how it is arranged in that fashion. So that is how this works. Again, let me tell you the second thing. If the delimiter is not set, so let's remove the delimiter. So as I said, it will not produce a good result because we have some kind of delimiter over here, but it will take you and this together because these are all attached together, and the space will act as a delimiter between them. Because of that, I and love will be separated. So you can see that's why you need to have a valid delimiter. If you do not have a delimiter, then you should use spaces between them. So it is a case for that. So let's go back again. Let's remove this n-gram and max, and let's set this to 2. Okay, let's set this to 2. We'll get only the 2 grams out of this whole content. So yes, the amount is 2 because there is only valid 2 grams. Yes, I'm repeating that there's only valid 2 grams. What do I mean by that? In the sentence I love you, we have, in this sentence we have only 2 grams, that is I love and love you. So that the response, that's why we have this kind of response. This is 1 gram and this is also a 1 gram. That's why we do not have this in our response. Again, we have other parameters along with that. One is validity, which is true because of with respect to each of these valid n-grams, and definitely other parameters as well. You can go through our API documentation, which I'll show you in just 2 to 3 minutes. So just bear with me. So the next is the POS checking. So let's type here some kind of POS. I have prepared some of that. Okay, so let's check this out. Yes, POS. Okay, so I am checking that whether NN and ID determiner and this can come together or not. So content type is currently set to POS as I am checking for the POSs, the grammatical sense of this. So let's check this out. So yes, right now we are checking only for 2 POSs. That's why we are getting this. So whether NN is a valid POS or not, true. Yes, it's a valid POS. We have seen that it comes under the top 15 POSs, which are the most frequently appearing POSs. We'll get the full form of that also, and the frequency which will they are appearing. The second one is INDT, which is a 2 gram POS. So its validity is false. It doesn't mean that the validity of this POS is false or this kind of POS does not exist in our database. It only means that it doesn't come under the top 15 POSs. So what do you mean by INDT? That we can also know about that. That is a preposition and the determiner can't come together, not coming so frequently in our database. So we have also the same variables for that as well. So that was about this, and I'm going to show you the documentation a bit. So we have this API documentation, which you can always have a look for your references. So basically, it tells you what can be the service be useful for and all. An important section of this is this part where you can always take it as a reference when you do not know what to do and how to use this service, or you want to know about any kind of variable information about that. So the last thing I want to show you is this, how to access this API in your code. So I've given you some references and I've added some of them. So this code can be directly used in a PHP code to get the response in a JSON format. You can see that we are calling this every day. Similarly, it can be called for a Python as well. So this is how everything works. So let me go back to the presentation. Sorry. Yeah. So what can be use cases of this API? So first of the use cases, it could be used for sentence filtration. How? So you can send the sentence, send the complete sentence into the content part, and you can set the verify parameter to the ngram, and also let me tell you how. So you can tag the content type to ngram, and you can pass the whole sentence in the content type. Then you can get the response in the JSON format, whether the sentence is valid or not. You can identify the most frequent POS tags as well. So and there are other 4 things that you can also check the grammatical correctness of the sentence, as I showed you in that particular sentence which was there in our example. So that was, and the last thing is our future goal currently is to integrate this valid ngram learning service into a multi-sentence calculator similarity calculation service to improve its efficiency. And the second thing is to use this POS validation service, particularly from this service, to use it for our automatic answering service for coronavirus question. So thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, Bhavesh. Is there any question for Bhavesh and the research? Hearing none. So basically, if you go to the web page that I just share in the chat, ws-nlp.vipresearch.ca, you can see how to use the service that Bhavesh provided, and also in that page you can also see some Moodle plugin, including the load learning object relation discovery Moodle plugin, which we trying to find a different kind of similarity between the learning object, like a task, a paragraph of the task. So basically, all the service and the Moodle plugin, they are ready for using, and you can try to download and use that. And what the most important for Bhavesh did is the ngram verifier, identifier, and the POS verifier actually can help you if you want to compare the similarity between 2 sentences or 2 paragraphs. You don't need to compare every word in that paragraph or sentence, because some of them, they are not so meaningful. So you don't know which part of this sentence or which part of this paragraph, they are not so meaningful for the comparison or similarity calculation. In that case, you can send a JSON request to the service that Bhavesh provided, and then it will tell you, okay, you only need to test, or you only need to use this part of the words over POS. So that will be very helpful in terms of making your algorithm better, more accurate, and also faster. So I hope you can benefit from this research outcome. If you have any question for us, you are welcome to send an email to us so we can help. And you are free to use all the research outcome that the VIP research group has. So once again, thank you so much, Bhavesh, for the help. And once again, I would like to remind you, he is a 3rd-year student, and he spent only 3 months to complete everything you see in the presentation and also the service.